Hey, welcome to Fellowship. This morning we're going to be in Jonah 2:2. So, chapter 2, verse 2. Out of my distress I called to Adonai, and he answered me. From the belly of Sheol I cried, and you heard my voice. What was going on with Jonah is he disobeyed God's voice, went on a separate path, ran away from the mission God had him to do, and ended up being thrown overboard off a ship, swallowed by a fish. And in the belly of that fish, he made that cry. Now, that's not always the case. If you're daily following the Lord and you're seeking his face and you're being obedient, you're doing what the Spirit is moving you to do, you can also cry. It's not all sunshine and rainbows all the time. We do hit valleys as Christians. And so I want to take you to another place where somebody cried out to the Lord, and that's David. So David did this, and a good example of it is Psalm 18, and in verse 7 in the Complete Jewish Bible, verse 6, if you're reading in the ESV, New King James, or ESV. In my distress, I cried to Adonai. I cried out to my God, and out of his temple he heard my voice. My cry reached his ears. This time, David was suffering persecution. He was on the run. He was following what God wanted him to do, and yet the enemy was hot on his tails. And this can happen to us too. What do we do then? Do we lash back? No, we do what David did. We give it to God and leave it with God. We shouldn't react or do something to harm anybody. We give that. In fact, David said in another portion of Psalms, he said, be angry, but sin not. Give it to God, let God deal with it, and God will. Okay, and so then we keep going in verse 8 or verse 7 in the other versions. Then the earth quaked and shook, and the foundations of the mountain trembled. Then, right after he cried, then the earth quaked and shook. The foundations of the mountain trembled. They were shaken because he was angry. Who was angry? God was angry. Because he knew David's heart. David had a relationship with the Most High God, and he cried out and said, look what's happening to me. And God answered. Smoke arose in his nostrils, and out of his mouth came devouring fire. Sparks blazed forth from him. God's taken action, and he will. He will, as long as we give it to God and leave it to God. Now we'll keep going, and we're going to jump forward for the sake of time. In verse 22 or 21 in the other versions, for I've kept the ways of Adonai, for I've not done evil by leaving my God. See, different from Jonah, right? For all his rulings were before me. I did not distance his regulations from me. I was pure-hearted with him and kept myself from sin. Hence Adonai repaid me for my uprightness, according to the purity of my hands in his view. Whose view? God's view. With the merciful you are merciful. With the man who is sincere you are sincere. With the pure you are pure. With the crooked you are cunning. With the people afflicted you save. But haughty eyes you humble. For you, Adonai, my lamp, Adonai, my God, lights up my darkness. With you, I can run through a troop of men. With my God, I can leap a wall. He saw God's vengeance, not his vengeance, God's vengeance come out against his enemies. That's why we need to trust in the Lord with all our heart. Lean not to our own understanding. In all our ways acknowledge him, and he will make our path straight. We give it to God, and God will do the rest. Charles Stanley used to say, trust God and leave all the consequences to him. As long as we leave the consequences with him, that's the key point. Now, when you see God coming forth and making moves and you see things happen, don't rejoice in the fact that your enemy is going through troubles. In fact, pray for your enemies, as Jesus said. I wouldn't want to go through those things, would you? I'd want somebody praying for me if I had my ways wrong, because at one time I did. At one time I didn't follow the ways of the Most High God. I followed my own ways, kind of like Jonah. So other people are going to do that as well. And we just pray that they come to the recognition that Jesus Christ is the Lord, Jesus Christ is King, and Jesus Christ is our shepherd, our teacher, and our friend. God bless you today. Make it a great day and show somebody else the light and love of Jesus Christ. God bless you.